Alright, so let's start small. Face paint. I prefer Army issue woodland, and when I can't get that, Hunter Specialty. Hunter Specialty can be found at pretty much any outdoor store. It's probably my go-to paint. This will eventually run out when the hammer drops, so you will have to fall back on improvised means of covering up your face and skin. Second up is these gloves I made. These are homemade. They will fit on either hand, right or left, ambidextrous. And they're trigger fingers. There's absolutely no insulation in them. They're just strictly made for CAMCON. I found these very useful. Third up is Mosquito Net. I rarely use these because they end up obscuring my vision, but the mosquitoes here are so thick that you can literally end up choking on them. You will breathe in a mouthful of mosquitoes and you will start choking and hacking and retching. It's not fun. Werewolf Hood. It's just a basic turkey hunting hood, and you see I added what I needed to add to it. Cut in irregular shapes, not strips. Strips are bullshit, and it's sewn on. I don't use shoe goo. Some places I cut holes and just simply tied the CAMCON fabric to it. There's all different sorts of patterns and colors and everything you need on here. Mostly the purpose of this hood, I'm still dicking around with it, is to kill the shadow from a ball cap or a patrol cap or a boonie cap. I added this elastic that will pull the eye hole flush to my head, and yeah, that's about it for that. It's mesh, it's breathable, it won't sweat you out, and that's about all there is to say about that. And here's my M4 wrapped up from yesterday that so many of you little girls lost your shit about. Again, the wrap is applied to the weapon and it doesn't interfere with anything. I'll give it a little better look than it did yesterday. The anchor toggles the knot, and there is a seam going across there to prevent the knot from going in. One thing about this is it will not fit on my AK because the fluff is just in the way of the sight aperture, so I'll have to do something separate for the AK. This thing's super easy to make. All you need is a bungee cord, tie a knot, or get some barrel locks like I had at the end. Some strategically placed fabrics, mix up the patterns, mix up the colors, and it's good to go. These are the trousers. I tend to use these less than anything. They're simple turkey hunting trousers, and they had a lot of birch, white bark looking color on them. So I painted it to subdue it. The paint sticks to the nylon pretty well. And the base is mesh, so it's really breathable. And I didn't add anything extra to it because I didn't want any snags and stuff around my legs when I was moving around. I did hem the legs. They end just below my knees, and then I sewed it off. That also aided in not snagging on crap, moving a little bit more quieter. I'll show you the other side. It's nothing special though. One thing I don't like about these is there's no pocket pass-throughs. I've been meaning to make them, but haven't gotten around to it. I kind of lopped off 4 inches at the bottom, and I was happy with it after that. But I would like to access my pockets under these trousers. And this is the top. The top again is a mesh-based turkey hunting 3D camo whatever. I did add liberal amounts of different patterns. Even got my hands on some 1970s Ranger brand camo shirts, and I sliced them up because they're double-sided. Got some Russian SS Leto camo, East German. There's some Splinter, some Scrim. There's some old school SS camo on there, double-sided. And I've removed the zipper. I put these Fastex clips on there. And there's the brand, in case you're wondering. And it's a size XXX. And I got it on a size XXX to go over all my webbing and any layered clothing. It breathes really well. And here's the other side. And around the hood, I broke it up with some irregular shaped trimming of different camo patterns. I'm digging the hood because it's very breathable. You can see the light through it. Again, different camo patterns. Don't cut stuff into strips. Strips is bullshit. Use irregular patterns. Cut all different ways. All different shapes. There's no shoe glue on this. Some of it's sewn, some of it's sewn, and some of it's tied on. I don't use shoe glue because when the hammer drops, you're not going to be able to replace that. And another reason I don't use shoe glue is because it adds extra weight that just doesn't need to be there. I mean, if you think you're going to add all this extra camo, and it's not going to add weight using shoe glue, that's just not realistic. It's going to add a whole lot of extra weight. And again, this will fit over my webbing or any kind of rig that I'm wearing. It'll even fit over a backpack because it's triple extra large, and I'm every bit of a medium. I think I did hem the arms. Yeah, I did hem the arms because they were super long. And it adds to the baggy, disruptive effect when it's that big. But even though it's that big, I had to trim it down to make it manageable because you can't go running through the brush in the wilderness with something that's going to grab onto everything that you walk past. I don't use foliage because harvesting foliage leaves sign. And plus it doesn't last long. Within an hour it's all wilted and dead. Except for pine. I can get away with pine and sometimes laurel, but there's no laurel up here back east. I just use a lot of laurel. Most leaves that look like they got a waxy coat on them will last a whole lot longer than just green vegetation. Laurel's one of them. I also kept all the strips relatively short on this werewolf hood as opposed to my first one because I didn't want them blowing around in the wind and making movement that would attract the eye of the outfitter. Some of it's long, but relatively speaking compared to the other one and in general, it's all pretty short. But it's long enough to break up the outline.